You will learn why schools read tests to dyslexic children, how and why you want to stop them from doing that, and actually meet a parent who stopped the school from reading text to her child and their child's test scores went up. Let's meet a parent who I recommend approach the school and ask them to stop reading tests to their child. Let's see how that turned out. I told you to stop them from reading tests to Miles. So how did that go? Let's talk about that.
So yes, that was verbalized that we did not want that. I felt like I had to verbalize that a few different times with discussions with Miles and things like that. It did sound like it was getting slipped in there here and there.
Okay,
So,
so let me
yeah,
so the viewer knows because we consulted on this. They kept doing it, right?
what it
Which
seemed like,
which
yeah.
which I've heard from a lot of parents, and the reason why they do that is because it's easy for them, right? And also, education moves in waves. Like there was the whole language thing, which was a disaster, and so now there's this whole push for accommodations and modifications. Make it easier for the dyslexic children. Modify that. So accommodations, there's people pushing for that. So that young teacher that you have, who was a great teacher, she was
Very
just
good
doing
teacher.
like she was just doing what she was told to do. But eventually, you pushed hard enough, and they stopped. They stopped reading tests to him,
Right.
and he and then you kept working intensely at home. And I have here you sent me an email. This was one of the best emails I ever got. His He scored on his end of grade test, which they did not read to him and did not do text to speech. He scored a 196, and the state average for second graders is 185. So he scored
Correct.
above the average second grader without having the test read to him as a
Right.
dyslexic student.
On my
Did you
papers.
ever feel like sending an email like, no, 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 boo, boo?
I can tell you when I received the message of his scores, I was at work and I was almost in tears. I was
Yeah.
so happy and just, yeah, I
But
was
that
beyond
happened,
words.
but that happened because they stopped reading tests to him. They stopped reading to him. I believe his second grade brain went, oh, I need to learn how to read, right? Like, and then of
Yes.
course you worked my program at home. Miles' reading ability went up because mom had the school focus on increasing his reading abilities rather than accommodating the fact he wasn't reading at grade level. Mom also implemented my program at home. When schools go to high accommodation strategies like reading text to your child or slapping headphones on them and having them use text to speech where they're hearing the data as they read it, they've basically given up on getting your child to be able to read at grade level on their own, and they've moved to a get them on through approach. This approach has been disastrous, and it's led to high school students that can't read, children attempting college that can't read without the accommodations. You don't know how many parents I get contacted by that say, my child's getting A's and B's, but he can't read. And this is a result of the get them on through approach that some schools are using. I believe this excessive accommodating strategy, this use of text to speech and reading tests and filling out forms and doing the work for the student is one of the reasons why American reading scores are lower than they've been for decades across all grade levels and socioeconomic groups. Some of you are like, well, my child's got an IEP. That isn't a guarantee that your child will ever read at grade level or sufficiently enough to go to college and function in the workforce. Only 70.6% of students that have an IEP will graduate high school, or stated differently, 29.4% of students on an IEP will not graduate high school. And I believe this is partially due to the fact that so many schools went with over accommodating rather than phonics and comprehension instruction. As I mentioned in the interview with the parent, public schools moved through trends and fads. There was the open classroom, emotional intelligence, whole language, the self-esteem movement where your child got a ribbon for showing up. All these have come and gone, but they've all been damaging, particularly whole language. The whole language movement matched pictures with words, and children were supposed to read by looking at the pictures and matching with the words and wordless and guessing and clues. And it was not healthy. It was just not good. It didn't teach children to read, and it didn't teach dyslexics to read. And people with doctorates and in the educational community pushed it, just like they're pushing accommodations now. It took us decades to wake up from the disaster that the whole language movement was. And I believe in a couple decades, someone's going to go, maybe we should have used phonics and teach children to read. Maybe slapping headphones on them and sticking them in front of a computer was a bad idea. They're going to ask the question, why didn't we teach children to read rather than work so hard to make life easy for them because they can't? It's going to take a while for that to happen, but not for your child. I want you to make a stand for your child. Contact your school and let them know you want them to minimize accommodations and maximize the effort they're putting in to get your child to read at grade level. If they don't respond or they're not doing it, then it's up to you. I have a program that will allow you to teach your child to read in 15 minutes a day. You can find a link to it below because it's worth it. Because it fills the child with joy and pride when they don't need accommodations. Remember last year when we stopped the teacher from reading the test to you? Remember that? How did that make you feel?
Good.